What's up, YouTube? This is Full Potential 1000. And I am Paul Malimabe. Today I got a story about, well, it's not really a story, but I don't know. About my brother, a little brother that I have. And I've built up hate for so many, for so many years for him. And right now I realize that I was wrong and it doesn't benefit me to hate me. So my brother and my little brother, I used to love him. I used to have a deep love for him, especially when he was born. I was happy. And I loved spending time with him. I really wanted to take care of him. I didn't even mind changing his diapers and whatever. But then I think things kind of shifted a little bit for me. A little bit. When I started to see that he changed, Like he was still young though. He was around maybe 5 years old. But he used to live with his dad, which is not my dad. He used to live with his dad, and he used to visit him and come and visit us. So one day he's visiting us, and obviously he comes with my mother. He's no longer the same, He's no longer talking the same way that I knew, that I knew him. And I was like, what is going on, I don't know this person. And it wasn't like a good change for me. But it was like a disgusting one. He came out with this attitude and sense of pride over people. And I was like, what is going on, Because now he's like talking about phones, money, I got this phone, I got these shoes, my father's rich, we are better than people. And you could see that obviously it's not even him, he got it from somebody else. But all of a sudden, this boy is now obsessed with money. Not in a good way. He's like making it his identity, And I didn't like it. I didn't like how disrespectful it came out, because it was like, it's better than us in this house, like, what? And I didn't like it, but it was just that, I didn't like it. And then it came when I visited them, and I would live with them maybe for like a week or even a month sometimes. And whoa, man, that's when it started. That's when I ended up seeing him as an enemy of a sort. And I started to build hate, because during the times that my mother and his father would fight, have arguments, he would shun my mother. He would throw bad words to my mother. You're a bitch, you're rich, my mother's evil. And it affected me, I was disgusted by this behavior, and I was even more disgusted that he would do this, and knowingly that my mother gives him pure love. And it really, really, really irked me, really, really pissed me off. That's when I was near hating him. And sometimes he would intentionally, I don't know, for attention or or maybe he wanted attention from his father or something like that, but he would intentionally start things with me, Maybe my one time was like he would run and kick the door, kick the door of the room that I'm living in. Like, kick it right open. And I'll be so pissed. And I would hate him, That's when I started to hate him because it was like, you're disgusting me even more because you're doing this partly because you want your father to pay attention to you, to come and get angry at me and defend you, and that would make him happy, and that made me like see him as this person does not care for me. And I already decided that he doesn't care for his mother. And it disgusted me even more, and I saw him as an enemy there. And I was so pissed that the third time when he came in and he ran, I stayed silently, and I was like listening to his feet, and I heard him running. And as soon as he kicked the door, I was already ready. When he kicked the door, he just saw us fully opened palm right at his face. I don't know how old I was. Maybe I was 14. And no, not 14. Maybe 16 or 17. And he was 7. Yes, if I'm not wrong. And I slapped him, and he cried. And it's like I had this anger in me, I was very angry at him. And my mother came in and was like, "Why are you slapping the kid? Don't beat the kid." And I'm telling her that he's the one looking for it, He's busy kicking around the doors and he knows what he's doing. He wants this situation. My mother didn't really take me serious. She was like, "No, you're not supposed to hit him. His father is even here." And that even pissed me off. That comment pissed me off because I hated that piece of shit, I hated his father. I really hated his father. And I hated that we would do things for him like this, not hitting the kid because he's here. I'd rather not hit the kid at all, But he's such a piece of shit too. It really pissed. The situation I was really, it was so toxic. It was so toxic, and just everybody was feeding this toxic energy. My mother was in fear, frustration. The child is all over following the fucking piece of shit father that he has, and his father just a piece of shit himself. And I was also getting affected. I was also getting mad that this kid is not family. He's not acting as family. And my mother would try to reassure me, "No, he's your brother." But by that time, I no longer saw him as my brother anymore. I saw him as a stranger. And I'm trying to remember the things that he did. But he was doing a lot of bad mouthing, And by that time, I would take everything personally because I was already hating him. And I was disgusted by him. So when he would say that my mother is a witch, she's evil, she's a bitch, disgusting, all of these things. All he would say my family is poor. Meantime, it's his family, but I know he's a kid. But by that time, everything he said was pissing me off. Every single thing. So I was disgusted. So to the point that when they were like, "Paul, take care of your brother," I would get disgusted. I got to take care of this, because that situation built me. to be that way. And I won't say that the situation, but that's how I responded. I was disgusted, but I was disgusted that I had to sit with him, and I couldn't leave. And I was also being told that I'm wrong for how I feel, but now I'm not gonna shame myself for how I feel or how I felt. I'm not gonna shame myself though. But that's how I feel though. That's how I felt in that moment. Disgust and hatred and angry. I was so angry that I wanted to shove him in the toilet and flush his head and dunk him inside, in and out, in and out, in and out. I was so, yo man, I really hated him too. Like every little thing. I remember I built up so much anger towards him that the littlest thing he would do, I would react to the extreme. Because already I had this anger, I had these memories that you once did this, you once said this, you once supported your father when he was beating my mother. You once, that I never even thought that he was a kid anymore. I couldn't. Because I was a kid too. And people just expected me to be like, be the bigger person, but it's funny how those people that told me that were never in that situation. It's funny how the people that are not in the situation will tell you, be the bigger person. It's just a child. I swear to God, those same people that would say that, if they were in that situation, I'm telling you, they would have reacted the same. Oof. They would have reacted the same way that I did. And I'm not even saying this because I want comfort or whatever, or support, but that I'm supporting myself. I'm accepting my feelings. I'm accepting the way I thought. But that did piss me off. I wanted to beat him. Like, I wanted to let it out. All the things that I thought about him, I wanted to let them out. And I felt like it was just this little demon that's just disgusting me. And I never formed a bond. I ended up not forming a bond with him. And I remember one time I even came to a phase that I never talked to him at all. Like, when he talked to me, I never looked at him. I never responded to him. And it even happened even now, actually. But now I no longer live with him, which is good, actually, because him and his father were like, toxic combo. But then I went through this phase, I don't even know how long, maybe even half a year, like 6 months without talking to him. And he even understood that doesn't talk to me, And he would ask, why doesn't Paul, every time he asked me, not even asked me, but every time he asked my mother, why doesn't Paul talk to me? It would piss me off, it would trigger that anger in me. And I would say, why would you even ask that? You know why, You know what the things that you did, you know what you keep on doing, what you're still doing. And I would get so pissed, In those moments, I felt like, about to smack this nigga, but man, I built a lot of anger. A lot. Was it necessary? No. It wasn't necessary, but it was my limited thinking, I didn't know. Not that I didn't know he was a child. I did know that I was a child, but I followed my feelings. And that's okay, man. I was protecting myself. That's how I survived in that situation. I was protecting myself against him, against his father, against anybody, And it my family ended up asking me that, why don't you talk to him? Why don't you always don't talk to your little brother? You don't even look him in the eyes. We know what he did. And when they said that, kind of pissed me off too. Cause like, but you keep saying this dumbest shit. And you only say this dumbest shit because you never experienced it, You were never there when they argued. You were never there when they fought. You were never there when he kicked the door. You were never there when he betrayed you in front of your eyes. You were never there when he talked all of this bad shit about you in your eyes. You were never there when this toxic energy was spewing and you got infected too. You were never there when I was crying. You were never there when my mother was crying. You were never there when you felt like you couldn't go. Because even the person that keeps on crying, your own mother, she's also keeping you inside of this situation. So I hated that they could just say that with no base. They could just say that, just forgive him, just forget it, it means nothing, he's just a child. And I hated that. Like, you don't see the pain that I have. You don't see what everything that I think, everything they did. You don't see that. And you're expecting me to just leave all of this big, huge rage that I have for them. I do want to. I do. But it ain't gonna happen just like that. And by then I wasn't even letting it go, actually. I was holding on to it because it felt like a protection to me. It felt like I didn't, as long as I held on to it, they couldn't win. They couldn't defeat me. They couldn't make me depressed. I was depressed, but they couldn't make me break. They couldn't break my mind. They couldn't make me fear them physically. Because in my emotions, I did, but I never showed it in my physical state. And I felt like there was a win. It wasn't. But I won't disapprove of it. If I thought it was a win, I'm okay with it. Even that time, I thought that doing that was a win. I'm okay with it. I'll accept it. I'll accept my thinking that I had, and it's okay. But it just pissed me off when they said that. Seriously pissed me off. But then just things grew more toxic and I put more distance between me and him, my little brother, and I think more hate grew. The hate never left. Every time he would try to do something, maybe he would try and like maybe my mother tells him, go and hug your brother. I'll get disgusted. I didn't want to hug him. And I felt this rage. This rage told me that, why are we hugging him? Do not hug him. And I won't say that he tried to mend things. No. Things only increased, Things only increased and became more toxic. And I responded with more hate, and I was just responding. I was just surviving. And I was just protecting myself. And at the same time, I was trying to just lash out all of this anger that was just ready to blow. But I was just holding back because I felt like it wasn't the right time. It would create more drama, more things that I don't want, things that I fear, the violence that I fear. So I think that's why I didn't do it. I didn't, end up just being his ass and maybe to even a pulp because I had a lot of anger. And now that we don't live together, I have a chance to look back at it, and see that how I lived, that I was just responding. I tried to think critically. I really tried, but it wasn't in the sense of controlling myself and my emotions and maybe assess the situation and leave because I felt like I couldn't leave because my mother was like, you telling me to not leave. And I felt like I couldn't disobey her by that time. So that was also blocking me. I was blocking myself, I know. But it's okay. It's okay because now I appreciate that I'm no longer living with them and I no longer have this toxic relationship. But now I can reflect on the things that happened and how I acted out and understand how I move. What's my first step when I meet these type of things, these type of people. And that's it, man. It's Full Potential 1000. And I am Paul Malimabe. Peace.